Welcome back to the Retirement Planning MadeEasy.com podcast. I'm your host, as always, Chris Hammond. And on this show, we are geared toward helping out retirees and people that are within 10, 15 years of retirement who want to get rid of all the stress, the anxiety of wondering, am I making the right decisions with my investments, my taxes, my withdrawal strategies from my portfolio, and also wondering, do I have enough money to retire? We talk about all of that stuff. And in today's episode, I want to talk about one component of the retirement plan that can have a very big impact on everything, and it's about the spending. How much spending do you need to support your lifestyle in retirement? And we're going to go over 5 ways to help trim down that budget. But we want to do this in a way where it's not making your lifestyle um, where you don't really enjoy it. That's not what this is about. We're talking about looking at ways to find things like waste in your budget where you're paying for stuff, you're not even using it, or maybe you don't even, or the things that you're getting, you don't feel like you're getting a good value from. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's just jump right into it. So, tip number one, I highly recommend that you audit your expenses. And the best way to do this, or probably the easiest way, would be to open up your bank statement and look through it and find everything that's on direct draft. Go through that and see and just go line item. You shouldn't have to do this very often. You do it a couple of times, a little bit of it will go a long way because once you catch things, you'll know, should I take action to cut that expense out? Or is it worth keeping? But don't stop at your bank statements. Also go to your credit card statements as well, because most of us we have tons of stuff where it just comes out automatically, not just out of your bank account, but sometimes we'll put things on our credit cards automatically recurring because you get some cashback bonuses as well on your credit card. So it makes sense to do that. But go through those, look back at maybe your last 3 to 6 months worth of statements and walk through those and see like, what are these things that I'm paying for? Is this worth paying for? Am I using this service? Is that important to me? One thing that, and I'll give you a personal example. One thing that we found on one of our statements one time when we were looking through it, we saw these little small charges like to the, I don't know if it's like the Google Play Store on some app or whatever that was purchased. And it wasn't a purchase that we had made. For some reason, the number, I don't know if the number had gotten stolen or whatever it was, but it's these little things. They're not big enough to really notice them unless you go out of your way to like, let's look at every statement and see what's going on. I think that my suspicion is that sometimes you may find that there are scammers out there that they want to kind of just milk it for as long as they can, so they don't want to run up big bills, and so they just want to keep things where they can maybe go under the radar as long as people aren't checking that. But we found that on some of our statements, and it all was found because we were just auditing our expenses. That's all it is. And this is something you can do. You don't have to do it all the time, but it's not a bad idea to look at this even once a month as well, just to see everything that's coming out. Common sense stuff, but I know a lot of us don't do that. We set up a lot of our financial life on autopilot. We're all guilty of that. But audit your expenses would be the first one. Another spending trim down tip would be to embrace low cost entertainment. So there's different ways you can have fun. Some things are more expensive than others. Do you think you're getting good value out of the more expensive stuff? Or can you be just as happy with the low cost entertainment? So, for example, things like camping, things like hiking, sightseeing, things like that, typically do not cost a lot of money. I'll give you another personal example. I was in Vegas a couple of months ago, and I'm not really into gambling. That's not really my thing. I don't get a lot of fun out of that. But Vegas happens to be centrally located to a lot of national parks and a lot of places that you can go sightsee. And I guarantee you that we spent a lot less money going and driving to those places than we would if we had gone down to the Strip and done some gambling or seen some shows or whatever it was, right? So it's just a matter of what do you place your value on? What's more important? If you like to see the shows, go see the shows. But we're talking about things that there are lower cost alternatives out there if you're looking for that to do to trim down your budget. All right, we're going to jump into 3, 4, and 5. But before we go any further, I do want to remind you, if you haven't checked out the recorded webinar masterclass that I've made available called Reaching Retirement and Thriving Beyond. Um, Go to the website www.retirementplanningmadeeasy.com. You'll see a link. You can click on it. You can get instant access to watch that. It helps you out to understand how a customized financial strategy helps you overcome the three main threats that people will face in retirement. So be sure to check that out. Back to the show. Number three, rethink your subscriptions. So right now, a lot of our lives are paid monthly. Insurance paid monthly, but there's a lot of other stuff that's paid monthly, like maybe you have a cable bill that's really large and you had just gotten an all access package because college football was coming up and now the season's been over for months now and you're still paying for this and you don't really need it. Check out what your subscriptions are. When streaming services came along a couple years ago, that helped out people to save money who didn't want to pay and have regular cable because you never really watched most of the stations and the channels available on cable anyway. Well, now we've gotten to a point now where you have so many streaming services that it's very easy where it's a very good chance that you were paying more than we were 10 years ago when we just had one all package cable deal instead. So rethink your subscriptions. Check it out. Do you really want to keep that Amazon Prime subscription? Are you watching the shows or do you just really like it because you get the free shipping and it's worth it to you? Are you watching that Disney Plus streaming service, Peacock, whatever it is? Check those out and rethink your subscriptions. Are you getting value from it? But not just the streaming services either. Things like a gym membership. Maybe you've got it on autopilot that you're paying for a gym membership, but you haven't been in over a year and you have no intentions of starting back again. That may be another area where you're wanting to cut back on, or other things that you pay on a monthly basis. Maybe you have a storage unit where you are storing a bunch of stuff that you're never going to use. Maybe you need to get rid of that stuff, sell it at a garage sale, or donate it and get rid of it and drop the subscription, I'll put that in quotes, that you're paying for a monthly storage unit. Just some examples like that. Number four, another way that you can trim down your spending is dining in more. Now, if you're a person that likes to dine in a lot or dine out a lot and eat out a lot, and you get a lot of value from that, maybe you don't want to do this one. But if you do enjoy dining in more, then that's an easy way to save money as well. Personally, I think a lot of times the food that we cook at home tastes better than what we get outside anyway. So, it's one of those things where the whole point of this is that you're looking for things that cost you more money that are not providing a lot of value for you, right? That's really the sweet spot of trimming down the expenses to helping out with your retirement planning. Number five, this was a big one. Pause before purchasing. You would be surprised at how much, when you think I need to purchase a certain thing, and then you just procrastinate and put it off and you don't get it right away, that suddenly you find out I'm actually doing fine, but I don't really want it as bad as I do anymore, right? That happens more often than not. So apply that to your life in just about anything. Before you purchase something, you think this is exactly what you want, sleep on it, wait a day or two, wait a week, and then find out, do you really care? Do you still care, or did you just hear a really good sales pitch that motivated you to want to buy it right then in the moment? Now, I got one more bonus, and this is the next level right here, and that is when you find things in your budget that you're not getting good value from anymore, and you want to cut them out. Take those savings that you're getting from that and transfer that into a savings account, or transfer that into your portfolio and get it invested in different equities or bonds or however your portfolio is invested. That's the bonus step. You do this, set that money aside, and you'll have that for bigger purchases down the road. So let's talk about the bottom line with this. This is really the bottom line, not to be the killjoy and say that you can't have fun, you can't enjoy your life, but to be efficient with how much you spend and the level of happiness that those purchases give you. I could almost guarantee that if you go through looking at your bank statements, your credit card statements, you would find items in there that you've spent on that you would look at and say, like, I get no benefit from that. I'm not really getting any net happiness out of this whatsoever. and you can cut those out. That's really what this is about, being efficient with that. And it's really important for retirement planning because your retirement security goes up when your regularly recurring expenses go down. Why is that? Because that means more of your regular monthly expenses can be covered by Social Security. More of them are covered. There's maybe less of a gap that has to be pulled from your savings on a regular basis. All that increases your retirement security of that question that usually nags people in the back of their mind of, am I going to run out of money in retirement? Well, if you can trim down your spending by finding things that are waste in your budget, things that are just going out the window and you're not getting much benefit from, that really helps out your retirement security a lot. And then lastly, get help if you need it. Expense management is just one part of a comprehensive financial roadmap. It's a very big part. It's very important that you do know what this is, and the lower you can get that number, the easier of a time you're going to have financially to make the numbers work for your own retirement. And if you haven't already, be sure to head over to my website, retirementplanningmadeeasy.com. There you can instantly watch a recorded webinar, a masterclass that I did called Reaching Retirement and Thriving Beyond, how a customized financial strategy helps you overcome the three main threats that you will face in retirement. That's all we got for today. I'll see you guys on the next episode.